Hello. Right, today I'm going to be playing with carbon. I've been playing around with this setup for quite some time, mainly just using the one oscillator, but I like modulating the filter quite a lot with this. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I modulate carbon in 3 different ways, mostly using either the mimetic or the javelin envelope here. So what I'm going to do then is I'll just start by creating a very simple sequence on the Osiris, and then we'll go through what we can do with the carbon here. So there's a very simple sequence coming out of Metropolis. All it's doing is triggering the Osiris. We're going through carbon. We're going through mimeophone here as well, but we're completely dry, and we'll leave it that way to keep it simple for now. Okay, so carbon allows you to modulate the frequency using this attenuator. I guess it's an attenuator as it goes negative as well. You can also send it 1 volt per octave, and you can modulate the resonance as well as ping the filter and send some saturation modulation. So the resonance is a little bit hit and miss, and you're liable to blow your ears if you're not careful, so I'm not going to put that on a video. The ping is great for sending lasers. Use it very, very sparingly, but it will just give you very, very quick blips on your modulation of your frequency. So I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to start with the saturation actually. So the saturation, you can set the saturation here with this knob here. So if I hold down this, it'll send some saturation. So you just hear that that's sounding a little bit more distorted. You can see the red light getting brighter just above. Oh, accidentally hit the fold there. You have to actually hold this down. So that's maximum saturation now. Not very interesting all of itself, but if we take that off and then we use the javelin to send something to the saturation. So what I've got here is on channel 6 I'm sending gate out into the javelin, and then I can send that envelope out into the saturation. So let's just let's unmute. So you can see every time that this channel now sends a gate, it's going out to the javelin here, and you can see that the saturation is effectively pinging the saturation. Now we have here a 16 note sequence with 5 events. So if we wanted to ping that saturation on every note, we go to 16. You can see the saturation is pretty much all positive here. Just lower it to a much lower number and something that's just off step, you get this nice effect. Okay, now what else can we do? We can actually modulate that saturation further using the javelin's accent. So the envelope that will come out when the accent is triggered will be that little bit more. So I'm going to use channel 5 here, which is plugged into the accent. And every time channel 5 fires, at the same time as the gate fires on channel 6, we'll get an accent. Oh, I need to use the mutes. So you see every time both are lit, we get double saturation. Okay, let's turn that off. Now another way that we can use the envelope is we can modulate the filter frequency, which is much more common. So let's just send that into the filter frequency. Now channel 6, let's go back to our channel 6 here. Let's send that once, just to start with, and then bring channel 6 back in. So every time that fires, we're opening up the filter. Let's open that up a few more. Let's go maybe 5. delay effect. And then if we do the same with the accent this time, it will open the filter frequency up that little bit more every time they both fire. Right, and then just bring some drums in with that. Okay, another way that we can modulate that the frequency of the filter is using mimetic. Now mimetic I've just got set to send 16 random values, and this will just give a different sound to the way that we were doing it via the envelope. So that's a lot more random, and it's coming through every 16 times, but we can get some nice effects with this if we turn up the modulation amount and then also turn up the resonance. And then bring in some drums. So you can see how that gives us a totally different sound. So let's go back to using the envelope. Maybe try sending this to saturation instead. Okay, what else can we do? So let's take that out for now. Turn the drums off. Okay, let's give some melody to our bass line. If we get the bass line nice and low on the cutoff, every time the notes increase in pitch, you kind of want it to open up a bit. So if you send the same pitch to the vox per octave, you can just hear that that's just opening up the filter a little. If we take it off, hear how the higher notes are still a little bit dull. That just opens them up a bit. And bring back in a frequency from Javelin. Drums back. Right, so let's go back to sending this to our saturation. And then we'll bring mimetic in on the frequency modulation. Give it some resonance. Now we could actually modulate this the other way. So that kind of ducks. As we're on a low pass filter now, it's going to duck every few notes. So there we go. We take ourselves back to where we were. So we've just got one note. So we can send random CV into a filter. accent, if we take the accent off, we're just getting the same filter change every time the envelope goes. If we bring the accent on, every time both of these are lit, you just get that slightly higher ping. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show. Just several ways that I use modulation on carbon. Yeah, kind of like that module. Never going to sell it. Love Javelin. Never going to sell it. It kind of works well with what I've got going on here. So I'm just going to play this out for a bit. And thanks for listening.